Okay, so for this recipe, you want to do 1 part melt and pour soap base to 1 part of your oil. So these are about 3.5 ounces. So I'm gonna do 2 bars, which is gonna be 7 ounces total of soap. And I'm gonna chop this up and put this in here. This one I didn't chop up before I put in here, so I just kind of poked at it with my knife, but you wanna make sure, that was just my tester to make sure this could even work, but you wanna make sure that you're chopping your soap into manageable pieces, because you don't want them to be in the microwave for too long. So now I'm going to toss this into the microwave for 10 to 15 seconds at a time until it's all melted, and I'll show you what that looks like at the end. So this is about 30 seconds in. You can see it's still got a little ways to go. Okay, so now my soap is fully melted, and I let it go a little bit too long and it kind of boiled, which you want to avoid. So make sure you're only doing 10 to 15 seconds at a time. So now my soap is completely liquid, and we're going to add the oils. I couldn't find a spoon, so I'm using a fork. So we used 7 ounces of soap base. So I'm going to use 7 ounces of oils, and to be the most economical, I'm just going to use, I'm actually going to use half and half of these because I already have both, but you could use just 1 4-ounce of these and then 2 of these because they're 1.5 ounces. So that would be a total of 7 ounces. If you did 2 of these is 3 and then 1 of these is 4. I'm going to pick which oils I want, and then I'm going to put them in here. Okay, so I've decided I'm going to use the Moroccan argan oil and the tea tree oil. This is the one I got at Family Dollar, so if you can't find it at Dollar Tree, you can get it at Family Dollar or replace it with something else. And then I'm going to use half of each of these bottles of the other oils, and that's going to equal my 7 ounces. So let me get them in my soap. So now I'm going to stir, and my soap has started to harden a little bit, so that's okay. I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm just going to stir. It's going to come up to room temperature just slightly because I added all those room temperature oils. When I put the sugar in, that's when this thing is going to really go crazy. So I'm just going to put this in the microwave for 10 seconds just to get it completely liquid again. Okay, I think this is as good as we're gonna get for right now. That's fine. Once you put the sugar in, it'll emulsify. So now we want to add in our fragrance oil, which is going to be, for me, the Aroma Guru Lavender Roll-On Oil. So for this recipe, I need 5 milliliters of fragrance oil, and this is 8. And I'm actually just gonna throw this whole thing in because it is already watered down with sweet almond oil, which is the carrier oil, and I don't think 2 milliliters of extra oil is really going to affect anything, so I'm just going to throw this whole thing in there. So let me just get this open. So for this weird batch, I need 15 ounces of sugar, and that is just shy of 1 pound. I'm going to be honest, I'm just going to kind of eyeball this. Okay, I just got an old spoon that we don't use anymore. So now this is completely solidified on me in the time it took me to go get that spoon. So I'm going to throw this in the microwave for a few seconds. Okay, so I would say that this is obviously not liquid, but this, in my opinion, is good enough to stick into the mold. So that's what I'm gonna do. All right, so here's my sugar scrubs all in the mold. I can feel that they're not quite completely full, but that's okay. It's not really gonna matter. So now we're gonna let this cool, and I would suggest making a half a batch if you want to only fill up one of these molds, I'm just gonna go putz around my apartment and see if I can't find something else to throw these in. I'll just reheat it until after I find something, but I should have something somewhere, I think, that I can put these in. But they'll harden and we'll be able to pop these out in probably a little bit. So I couldn't find another silicone mold. I know I have more from when I used to do soap making down in the basement, but I really don't want to go down there right now because it's 8,000 degrees in my apartment. But I just found this shipping box. I just cut the top off and threw some saran wrap in, and that's fine. I'll just chop up the cubes when they're done. Alternatively, if you have like an orange juice box or a milk carton that has like a wax lining to it, you can use that as a soap mold as well. And just to show you guys, I did put this one back in for a little bit longer than I did last time. You can get it to like a pourable consistency for putting into the mold. I was just being impatient. All right, so now I'm gonna wash this out and save this, my spoon, and all of my other tools for another soap making adventure. Not for food. Please do not put anything for food. The fragrances are not edible. Please do not cook in this. So now we're gonna wait for these to cool, and it could take up to overnight. I'm just gonna let them sit here, but I put all of my extra materials back in my little Dollar Tree basket for next time. And that's where this and my cutting mat will live. Please do not cross-contaminate. It's very important. Just in case you were wondering, you can take those Pears soaps and reform them into other little mini soaps if you want to use the like holiday silicone like ice cube trays that Dollar Tree puts out. So you can like take the Pears soaps, melt them down, and then just pour them into the shaped molds. If you do that, you do want to spray it with alcohol on the top to get rid of any bubbles. But that's not really what that soap is meant for, so it's not quite as good as melt and pour soap, but this is entirely unnecessary. If you just want to wash out your containers with soap and water, that's fine. Okay, so these are hardened now. I'm gonna pop them out and put them into my little container. Okay, so these are all out, and now I'm gonna put them in my container. To use them, you just wanna put a little bit of water on them and squish them in the shower, just to kind of get them to lather, and they should be good to go. Okay, so for the loaf one, pops right out, and then I'm just gonna cut it into cubes. I'm doing a terrible job at cutting this, but you can just cut them into little chunks and it'll work the same as the ones that were in the little mold. You just want to run them under hot water until they become pliable, and then you can scrub it all over your body. This should be about enough for one use. So I have these little bits that should work great in the shower as well. So this is an emulsified sugar scrub. This will last quite some time in your bath. And I'm gonna put the rest of these in a plastic bag since I'm out of container space, but that's it. This will work much better when you're under the water in the shower, in the warm water. So you'll be able to use this to scrub your whole body. I had a bunch of little scraps on my cutting board here from cutting the chunks, and I just kind of pressed them into one scrub so you don't have to even waste anything. And make sure you keep these in an airtight container because the glycerin in these will sweat and it will be nasty, so you don't want that. But yeah, that's it. I hope you guys have a great one. Bye.